What is going on, Cowboy Nation? Welcome back to Primetime Studios. Like always, I'm your host, Primetime Phil. And I don't know if I'm coming into, I had to redo my system, so I'm sorry if it's yelling through. Let me know how my volume is sounding. But one thing that I can say consistent is, of course, my co-host, GameTime Bryan. GameTime, how have you been, man? It seems like forever. You are muted. Unless it's me.
Yo, what up?
There we
bad.
go.
How is everybody
That was
doing?
me last week. I said, nope, it's a Primetime Phil show. But no, you're good.
Can you
I
guys
can
hear
hear.
me?
I can hear you.
All right, cool. All right, man. Sorry, man. I was in my own little world right there. I'm good. I hope you're doing good, Phil. We haven't talked much, but there's been a lot of movement with the Cowboys. I see Twiz is in the house. He did some moves too. The Eagles did some moves.
Thank you, Mike.
I'm excited to talk about it, man. I'm excited. How's everybody doing?
Dude, we got a nice little group in here already. From last week when we ended the broadcast, we were just like, by tomorrow everything could be obsolete and we have new moves, and that's exactly what it seemed like happened. Of course, the big one we're going to talk about, but can you say the Cowboys have been handling business? A lot better than previous season. Yeah, a lot better than previous season. I'm not going to say they have the best. Okay. I'm not going to say that they've had the best offseason out of everybody, but I know compared to ourselves, that's the big one. I'm going. Right now, it is.
Yeah, listen. Last year it was about as frustrating as it could possibly get, as far as an off season. They pieced it together in the draft, after the draft. They really didn't care about how the fans felt and getting excited, and unlike the Eagles where they were making every move in the off season, and you felt, if you're an Eagle fan, like dude. Yeah, here we go. Like another move. Not to say that they always work, Phil, but I'd rather do something than nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just a relief that we're filling some holes, and we haven't really brought in any new players via free agency. The trade market is where we're doing our damage.
Yep.
And I'm good, man.
Yeah, I know. I was very excited. We talked about the Gilmore trade. They got some really good value. They came out. They said, hey, we don't want to trade for a receiver for a second-round pick and give up all this. We want somebody more in this range, and we want to only give up a fifth and a sixth. And we all kind of laughed. And then they did it, and it was a big name, and it was somebody that could definitely help this offense. Not the tallest guy, not a Mike McCarthy type of guy, but still an explosive guy. Got a bad reputation in the sense of being traded around, but you never hear anything bad about him. Obviously the controversy that he had with Houston, who hasn't, by this point. Sorry, Eastside. But going to our chat, we have quite a bit of people. Again, like I was saying, we got Twiz that came in. We got Brooklyn Joe, Mike Aldana, of course you, me. Twiz was pulling stuff out of his house. Pulling stuff out of his road with trees falling with the tractor. Caramel Corn, welcome. Mark, of course, definitely. Cole's Cowboys up in the house. Welcome, guys. We need an O-line at 26. That's what I've been preaching since the beginning of the draft. I obviously, everybody loves those sexy picks, but I love that one, the meat and potatoes. But again, let's focus on one little subject at a time, because again, week by week as it goes by, these Cowboys have been making moves, so there is a lot to talk about. I
was thinking maybe get. I know it's hopefully this week is better for you. Maybe we can get together a Wednesday night or something, maybe midweek. Maybe get on a couple other guys, and it would be kind of cool to do a
draft,
like an actual draft where you pick for a team, I pick for a team, like you pick for 1 through 4 or whatever. Cole's picks from, you know what I mean? We'll take turns. Because to me, that's good, because then it's not me doing all the picks, saying, well, I think the Eagles are going to do this, which I pretty much know the Eagles are going to do to us, but, it'll be fun. I don't know. I think that would be cool,
One thing I've seen through Cowboy Nation, jumping on what you're saying, is when you think about all these needs that they've filled with going into the offseason, what do we say? Get a number two corner, get a number 2 wide receiver. corners that are number twos but could be number ones. And I think they did a really good job of doing that exact thing. Letting people go that, it's a little heartbreaking, of course, with Zeke and Schultz, but it's stuff that needed to be done. Noah Brown, come on, man. How many times can he make this roster? You need to improve. So, you're seeing these moves, and so now the draft becomes wide open. So people are debating. I want a tight end, and I want an offensive lineman, and I want a running back, and I want a wide receiver, and then but because you can. And I think that's what's the nice thing about the Cowboys doing what they've done. Go ahead.
I've narrowed it down, Phil. I've narrowed it down based on what we've done and based on what I think is going to be there when we pick. The wild card, I keep saying his name, is Bijan Robinson. But as of now, I'm thinking O-line 1. This is just, like strictly based on who I think is going to be there. O-line 1, wide receiver, you might be looking at a big-time wide receiver there or possibly a running back. I don't see us doing tight end with number 1. I guess my number 4 would be edge rusher. You could have an edge guy.
There's some edge guys there that are, some guys that could definitely.
I think Nolan Smith's going to go high. I think more and more there's a chance Bijan drops to us. I just honestly do. And if he does, Cole,
because of people's value of the running back right now,
I just think that's why I want to do this mock draft with everybody. Me and you could do one too, but it'd be nice. Listen, it would be nice to do a draft where, because I'm thinking this Anthony Richardson, something tells me that he's going to go earlier than anybody's thinking. Like he could go ahead of Bryce Young. I see 4 quarterbacks going. I think Will Levis goes before us. So, you know how this is. Every year, these mock drafts, there's always guys taken that nobody had in the first round.
That's correct.
So, I'm just saying that if Bijan's there, I don't necessarily want a running back in round 1. You can't overlook that. If we're going to be honest and stick to the board, we got to take him. I would hope that the Cowboys would. Now, Carter's going to slip a little bit, the D end out of Georgia, but he's not going to slip out of the top 10.
Yeah.
And if he does, Phil, it won't be far.
No.
I think the Eagles will. If I were the Philly, I would run that in unbelievably fast. So I think he gets to like 6 to 8. I think that's where he goes. And he's a top talent. He's just young.
And he's had some drama happen.
Full of what.
Yeah, I mean, he's had some drama happen in his life, so obviously it's understandable why he wouldn't have an amazing pro day and stuff. So I don't, I let the film talk for itself, Cole Cowboy says, hit me up for the show, Bryan. So that'll definitely be a guy
that's up to Phil. He's the boss on here, man. So
I have to make an overlay.
I'm just a talent now.
Yeah, I got a trailer in the back for him. But going into it, a guy that I definitely want to talk about, definitely a lot of good ones here. I think definitely Cole will reach out to you. But let's talk about the big one. I think a day or two later after we did the broadcast, all of a sudden you saw, hey, what is the big name that comes? Of course, Brandon Cooks, a guy that's been has the reputation of being traded a lot, 4 times. They want to Dickerson was traded 4 times. Do you think of him as a terrible talent? No, that's not usually how that works. So, what do you think about his production and each time he's been traded? Do you think he brings that value still?
Absolutely, and I can't build. I'm actually upset at myself for not thinking him higher. I like other fans, I have to take a step back and just be a fan for a moment. I think of him as a guy who's been traded 4 times. But when you look inside the numbers, other than last year, he's 1,000-yard receiver waking up and getting out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
He played with 2 different quarterbacks last year, and he was deactivated towards the end of the year. After the trade deadline, he hardly played. So, as much as I love D-Hop, I
Stacy?
think Cooks is a better fit when you really analyze it because he could actually take a top off of defense. He's the speed guy that we need.
Yep.
Um,
There were
and
some
we'll
people.
get to Hopkins. That's done to people. I know that, Mark keeps saying, but it's not going to happen. We're not going to give up any draft picks.
What's going on? Oh, sorry. No, I was just jumping at the end of your thing.
Yeah.
There.
What's up, Gina?
So we got Loyal Cowboy in the house. We got Gina coming in. We got Stacy. What's going on, Stacy?
My man,
Sugar Daddy.
Video
Asia.
Yeah. Everybody check out Sugar Daddy 1, his YouTube channel. It's pretty cool.
I'll have to. And
then he's always streaming.
And then Rhonda Rhonda don't see her in here yet, but you'll usually do see her, and she's been doing really good. She's been doing really good on her YouTube as well. And then Stacy tomorrow, of course, at 4:00 on Sundays.
Yeah,
tune in.
I love to remind myself.
I admit, I'll watch the replay sometimes, but it's hard sometimes.
Well, you always ring that bell. That's the thing. I finally hit the bell, Stacy, so I'll be in on there.
So going back to the subject, of course, of Brandon Cooks, there's some people that have had the subject of going, well, does he fit that offense? Mike McCarthy likes the long receivers. Well, if you see what T.Y. Hilton was able to do when he came into this offense, you're getting a better version of that. You got 3rd and 30, and this guy's a guy that could be 3rd and touchdown. So I love this move. Again, I said it on Twitter, and I'll repeat it right now. This move is kind of like a gift on Christmas from your grandma. It's most likely underwear, and it's because you don't want it, but you need it. You need it. And this offense needed this wide receiver.
Do you really?
Yeah, you need it. Don't get me wrong. You can say that out, but everybody knows you need the underwear.
Do you really need it? Yeah, I know. If you plan on doing anything, yeah.
But what was gonna say? Brandon. Oh, yeah, we're talking about underwear. And I'm all on a whole different subject. So Brandon Cooks.
You're talking about going commando. That's what you're basically talking about, and that's fine. That's a personal preference. Me, I like everything in its proper spot. But that's all. Let's move on, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Listen, I love the addition. I'm upset with myself that I didn't think about it. You know as well as I do, Phil, that the Cowboys like to do things, and when they didn't get, I just want to clear this up because other people keep saying last year was a first, last year was a second. No. Dallas had a deal in place with Houston for a 3rd-round pick, not a 2, not a 1. It was a 3. They had a deal in place. They were arguing over how much of the money that Houston was going to pick up of the contract. So they couldn't agree on that. Houston then said in the 11th hour, we want a 2. You know how Dallas is. They said no. I should have known that they were going to revisit this. It made more sense. I don't know why. I mean, I had him rated number 4 on my wish list.
I think we had Loyal Cowboy saying that as well too. I mean, there were some people that are talking about Brandon Cooks in a couple of chats prior. So it was a move that was on the radar. I kind of thought it kind of disappeared because of what happened last year. Maybe the bad blood, bad taste left in their mouth from the switch. But
you know what I'm excited about, Phil? He wants to be here.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I want guys that want to be here. I don't. If you're worried about every dollar you could get, come on, OBJ. You've made a lot of money in your career. Okay, I'm not begrudging you, but don't be mad at us if we're not. You're gonna pay you.
Well, well, you think about it. I mean, what else is he going to get being a Cowboy? He's going to get all these endorsements and stuff like that, but he doesn't think about that money.
They don't want to hear that. They want that over and above. Not that, and also the living is a little cheaper in Texas than it would be in New York. That's for sure. L.A. absolutely. So you got to. Not to mention, if you finish your, and I know we're getting off subject, but
no, it's okay.
If you finish your career as a Cowboy, okay, and you finish strong, and you're able to win a Super Bowl, you're basically guaranteed the $20 million a year in somebody's broadcast booth. And if you're like a good player, I mean, just think about all the Cowboys from Darren Woodson to Emmett, even though it was short. I mean, D-Ware, Romo, Aikman. It just goes on and on about all the guys who have been in the booth from time to time. Don Meredith. I mean, it's just there's a lot of money, to be made post career by being a Cowboy, especially if you win.
Yeah.
But getting back to Cooks,
Yeah.
I love the move. It made a lot of sense. He still runs a 4-4. He wants to be here. He's already in the building. Let's go. Right? Let's go. And
Mark,
I would get D-Hop too. I would,
Yeah.
but I'm not giving up anything. I would give up because he's going to play at 32. I'll give up a 4. Is that good for you? Do you guys want to take a 4? Other than that, I'm not giving a top 100 pick. I'm not.
So Mark wants to know. Mark Hudson says, "Is Brandon Cooks a number 2 or number 3 over Gallup?" What do you think? Before I answer.
That's easy. Well, in my opinion, he's a number 2. All day. He's the fastest guy on the team now. He comes in as a number 2. Which is why it makes more sense. He's not going to be bitching and crying and wanting the ball and pouting on the sideline. He's an unbelievable teammate. He's not to get religious. He's a deep faith, guy. You need a guy like that in your locker room. You can't have. You know what I mean? You need to have a guy.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Dennis says Cooks is a legit number 2 wide receiver over Michael Gallup 13. And I agree. I definitely agree. And you could make a push. I mean, and Twiz is saying as well, don't take this wrong, but C's better in the slot. Have Gallup and Cook on the outside. That's a nice thing is you can kind of rotate these guys around. And he's definitely right.
Twiz is right there. I was saying it. And you know what, Phil? He don't have to be in the slot. But he needs to be moving. He needs to be moving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, when you're talking about Cooks and Gallup, I want there to be a debate. I want there to be a hard choice. That means Gallup has come back from his injury. That first year, you know how it is, and you just never really seemed fully 100% healthy throughout the year. It was kind of slow off of stuff. So you're hoping that is a big debate going into it. Who's our number 2? Who's our number 3? I want a number. I want maybe even. I know I'm going to say this and I'm going to laugh later on, but I even want Simi and Jalen Tolbert kind of making that push as well. I want there to be controversy because I want there to be good wide receivers, and so of course
that's why. Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's why I don't think we need to go out and get another free agent wide receiver. I don't think we need to. I just don't. You know what I mean? I think that would be foolish to give up a top 100 pick for anybody else right now. That's almost only the Cowboys fans are like, oh yeah, but we could still get D-Hop. Yeah, we could. And everybody's making a big deal of him still being in Texas. That's where he lives, and he's working out with Dez. That doesn't mean anything. No. If we were going to get D-Hop, then we should have got D-Hop over Brandon Cooks. Now we did, and we need to focus. Everybody's got to stay focused on what we're going to be doing here. If we want Diggs back, and if we want
CeeDee Lamb as well.
You want CeeDee Lamb.
Parsons not going to be far behind.
Yeah, and you want there you go. That's perfect. You can't just, I'm not saying we're going to give Hopkins a lot. If he wants it, if he'll give up, if they'll take a 4, then do it. I'm not going to argue. But other than that, I'm good. I'm straight. So anyway, yeah. Let's go draft. Whether we drop out of the first and get another top 100 pick, or we stick and pick. I'm ready, man. We filled most of the holes.
Yep.
And
I agree. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about those holes filled because we're going to jump into it. Okay, so in the next segment here, we talk about the re-signings. We're talking about Fowler being re-signed, which is a great move. Again, another filler, a guy that, as a rotational guy, if he's your third or fourth D lineman, that's a good thing. And then, of course, you sign somebody on the offensive line, Chuma Edoga. Edoga, yeah, that was pretty close. That's the one that they wanted to trade.
If you want,
they wanted to trade as well. That was another guy. About him. Go ahead, dude, bring it up.
You talk about him, and then I'll. Because I'm looking something up. So go talk about him.
When you look at the Jets, the Jets had this history with him. You see him on the screen. He's number 75. They released him. They brought him back. He's number 70. He's been there. He's been rotational guy. Definitely, I think he's a solid pickup. I can understand why the Jets kind of moved on from him because he's not going to come in here and take anybody's job, but he will do a good job being, especially at the guard position. he's not going to get beat a whole lot. He's definitely got some power. I see sometimes where he does get off balance, but I do like it. I like the fact that Dallas went. This is another guy that Dallas was trying to trade for, that the Jets wanted too much out of it, and they're like, okay, we're just backing out. So the fact that he comes in still, that's awesome. Again, I've heard some little bit of rumors of people are like, oh, Collins is going to be like, let's bring him back. And what do you think about that? You think that's something that's an option as well?
No, absolutely no to Collins. No, thank you. So, but yeah, like getting to Chuma Edoga, you're right. He was a guy that we wanted to trade for last year, and you know how we are with our picks. He had turned it down, which is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? We turned it down. He was traded to Atlanta. In 17 career games. Now, this is not one season, but in 17 career games, he's given up 9 sacks. He has played a lot of tackle, but he seems to be better at guard. Just because he's only 6'3", I say only 6'3", but that's more of a guard. He's 6'3", about 308, if you believe, the numbers. Your tackles you want to be, at least 6'4", but normally 6'5", 6'6". He's okay. He's more of a. This is why it's a depth move. It's a training camp move. Don't expect him to necessarily
make
be
the roster
on the team.
Exactly.
Right.
Cole's Cowboys says Mike.
Into those.
No, I was
go ahead.
No, I was just going to tell you. No, you continue your thought. Mike McCarthy doesn't like Collins. He mentioned that, and that's true. I think that is actually a very true statement. But go ahead. You're talking about him making the roster and everything.
Well, it's basically just like, imagine you draft, whether it's we're going to draft or we're going to pick up in free agency a young quarterback. We're going to go with 4 from now on. We went with 4 last year. Whoever we draft will be on the practice squad, or they'll move. Will Greer. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But like when you play these preseason games, you don't want nothing against Isaac Alarcon, but you don't want to just have a bunch of nobodies on the offensive line. You cannot get a good evaluation, as well as every other position, whether it's a young wide receiver or young running back. You need to have some veterans. So a guy like Edoga, he can play a lot of snaps in the second half, and you're going to be able to see the other players more. Not that he's not going to make the team, but there's no guarantee. That's all I'm saying. He's a little bit above the veteran minimum, and it's not a guaranteed contract, so it's you know what I mean.
I think Mark Hudson hits the nail right on the head when he says, I think we need to focus on offensive line when you got Tyron Smith that's coming off of a season-ending injury, and then you got Martin at the age of 33. I say that I added the Tyron Smith season-ending injury, but he came back. But either way, it's something that every single year we have to deal with. So with that, and then Martin, I love Martin. Martin's that all pro that we don't have to worry about too much. But at some point, yes, you're going to have to worry about it. So getting the offensive lineman, that's why I'm okay with that at 26. There's a lot of guys that the running backs, the wide receivers, the tight ends, and I totally understand. I would not be mad about that either, as long as you're picking somebody in the first 3 rounds to be able to do something. I mean, we need to start building. I mean, you got Terrence Steele coming back. He showed some video of him moving without his brace on. Looked really good. Obviously, it changes once a guy's pushing on you and everything, but the fact that you're already at that point and you still got some time before even spring camp starts happening and little things like that, and then obviously the summer camps where it's full blown. So you get a lot of time in between there, and it's good to see him going. But I'm with Mark right here when you say that we need to keep. That's something that we need to invest in every single year. It's not just something we just need to kind of just let settle. No, we're good. We'll just leave it alone. No, man, keep rotating those guys in there. Let's get some guys. Let's find some diamonds in the rough too. So. And then Sugar Daddy right here, yeah, Steele's status is uncertain as well, and it's true. I mean, he looks good. He looked good. I mean, he looks good again.
They just come out now saying that he's already well ahead of schedule. I told
good.
Mark this a while ago. I saw an interview, and he since have come out. He's going to be ready to go.
See, but at the same time, it can be uncertain. You're right. I understand that too. Yeah. But that's good. I'm glad they come out and said that, and they don't normally just throw that information out there either. I know they do like to mask some stuff. Ezekiel, oh no, he's good, and then at the end of the season, then you want to admit stuff. So you can't believe everything you hear from them. Hopefully, it's coming from his camp. But at the same time, once people start pushing on you and every, that first year coming off those type of injuries, we know how that can be. So I just like the fact that you're seeing him step, you're kicking and everything. He's ahead of.
I'm going to give you a name. Now, I wouldn't take this guy ahead of Bijan, but I almost want Bijan to be taken, so I don't got to be pissed because you can't
pass the guy like that. Yeah.
You can't pass him. I'm sorry. And I know Coles doesn't want him necessarily, but you can't pass him at 26 if he's there. And I'm telling you, there's a more than 50-50 chance that he's going to be there. But if he's gone, there's one name that I think that the Cowboys are going to take. It won't be Osiris Torrance. It'll be the other guard out of TCU, Steve Avila. And I love him. Everybody has us taking him in a second. I don't think there's no way in heck he makes it to us in the second. So I think Steve Avila is going to be us at 26. I'm going to call it now. That's my opinion, man. I'm thinking that's who we're going to get, assuming Bijan is not there. So, and he can he's such a strong guy, man. He can come right in, hit the ground running.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Twiz, Peters was only on a 1-year deal. I don't believe we have Peters, right? Am I wrong? Peters wasn't.
He's gone, and that's another thing. Yeah. You brought that up. I'm going to go in on there. The more I'm hearing, Tyron Smith will not be starting. Yeah, he's not going to start. He's going to be the swing, and which is what I like.
What do we call?
You're right. I want to keep our young guy, Tyler Smith, at left tackle. To get a guard, if it's Steve Avila, yes, he comes in. He's an unbelievable player. Let's roll.
Yeah, and that's
not there. There are other guys down the road in the draft. We get somebody. Don't worry, we're gonna get somebody. Which is why this Edoga pick is so good.
Yeah,
because he's very versatile. He could play there in the pinch. So.
Yeah, and you want these as the backup. I'm okay with the veterans as the backup, just in case something happens. But yeah, I'm all for building that offensive line again. I mean, let's make that O-line great. So as we talk, let's go back. Have you been hearing anything about the coaching staff? How about this West Coast offense? How it's going to be implemented?
I haven't.
No.
All I know is Mike McCarthy likes to throw the ball, so. I'll believe it when I see it that we're going to pound the rock, take the air out of like we're going to take the air out. I'll believe that when I see it. That's just why adding as much, offensive talent as you can makes sense. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's where I was going to go with it. I think I liked it because I brought it up and you kind of ran with it. As much as they're talking about running the ball, the offense, the West Coast offense is mostly a throwing type of offense. So that's why I'm a little surprised. And they ask, will Cooks, be able to dominate in that type of offense? I definitely think so as well, especially when you have to go CeeDee Lamb on the other side. Hopefully Michael Gallup is 100%. Some of these other weapons, I feel better about a Simi Fehoko and a Jalen Tolbert going into the season with no Noah Brown there. I don't, you don't know what you have in these other guys still, but at the same time, you know exactly what you have in Noah Brown. And thank you to Houston for kind of taking that off our hands. Whether, and then, of course, we're talking about Schultz, will he be missed? Do we draft a tight end? There's a lot of guys that want to draft a tight end very early. I don't blame them at all, but we've talked about this before where we think there's a lot of tight end talent later on in the draft. So would you be upset if they did go tight end in the first round?
Yes, I would, because I would not want to have one of these tight ends with our number one pick, especially when you got Jake Ferguson, who I don't know if you remember this, Phil. You remember this is
that
when we
true?
First started doing it.
Is Mike Aldana true? Is Bobby Wagner signed to the Seahawks? I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's obviously true.
Oh, man.
I told Mark he wasn't coming to us, so that's
makes you
I'm
wonder.
fine with that.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks,
Um,
but for 7, you found out. It's like finding out they were selling Mercedes for like half the price, and
there's a lot of linebackers. This is such a deep linebacker draft. I'd rather draft one. Yeah, everybody's losing sight of the fact that about 15 million, I heard this, about 15 million we're going to need off of this cap
see, I
just
don't
in
hear that. I
case.
don't hear that. I no. I heard exactly what you're saying. But I don't get it because really, what you need is 7 to 8, million. But they usually
It's
leave
not for
10.
the draft. It's
Okay.
for all the escalators and all the bonuses that like the way they're
Oh, okay.
structuring the
I see.
contracts
But they got
that
10
they need
million
to have
coming,
that
right?
money.
They got 10
Well,
million
yeah, well, they
coming.
have 11. Right now,
Yeah.
they're sitting at 13 mil. They
Okay.
get another 11 post June 1, a little over 13. We'll have over 24 mil.
Okay.
So when you look at it that way, when you include your draft class, and, they always want to keep 5 mil. So
Just
you
in
figure the
case.
other 10 is going to be escalators and stuff and all these other contracts. I'm just saying that's where it's at.
Yeah, it makes sense. It totally
So,
makes sense. That what if, what happened a couple years ago when we had, I was looking forward to McCoy going into this defensive line, and then all of a sudden he goes down with some freak injury, and then we're having to scramble and pick up some guys, and that's where that's where that insurance money is, and after you're signing
money,
your
money,
people.
money, money.
I hope we come out of this draft definitely excited about the people that we pick. Mark says we need to work on another corner. We only have Gilmore for 1 year early. You may see some kind of deal be worked there. I guess even if they were to walk, you don't feel terrible about the whole thing because you're running them for a year for the draft pick. The type of draft pick that was given to you, so you weren't really relying on that draft pick anyways because it was just replacing somebody else. So who it replaces, that's going to be the question. So the balance is there. But I like that going into the season because obviously you have Diggs on one side, you got Gilmore, you got Bland. Yeah, whether you have Lewis or any of that stuff, you have some good younger corners behind them. But I am definitely with you, Mark, too. Again, there's a lot of those picks. Wide receiver count can be pushed to the side. Defensive tackle, offensive line, cornerback. Those are the ones that, hey, I'm not going to be angry if we get one of those guys early, and those could be the first 3 rounds. Sorry, I had a little ramble there, but what do you think about
Yeah, you're
defensive
good.
tackle? Yeah, we've heard the thing about Hankins. Obviously, Hankins doesn't want to be signed right now. He wants to be signed later. He just probably doesn't want to go through the workouts, doesn't want to go through camps. Just wants to kind of just come in here and kind of just start playing. What do you think about that whole thing, defensive tackle and Hankins?
I love Hankins. We're gonna get him back. I wish we would just throw him a couple 100,000 more and just get it done. It's probably slightly above minimum salary, maybe a 1.2 mil. You saw the difference he made. Uh, Come on, man. Let's get the. He's sitting on the contract, waiting for
EJB.
somebody to blow his socks off. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So, I think that he's going to be back. So that's
Yep.
fine. So that's official. Wagner's gone, right?
That's what Mike was saying. Mike Aldana was
Okay.
saying that Bobby Wagner resigned
I
for 7
didn't.
million. It
I
makes you wonder
wasn't.
though. 7 million, man. Ooh, couldn't have done something there. you know,
Nah, I'm good, man. We got too many guys on this roster that
he's more linebacker.
we need to. Yeah, that we need to find out about. And
You're
I
like,
love
no, we don't
Dorian.
need. You're like one of those ones. You're like, no, we don't need no Bobby Wagner. We got LVE at the house, okay?
Well, it's not LVE. We got LVE. We got Damone Clark.
Damone Clark.
We
Okay,
got
there you go. That's a
Jabril
better.
Cox. We got a J-Ron Curse who slides down and plays the linebacker.
Yeah,
When
love that. You got
there-
Wilson as
there's
well.
a lot of times when you got J-Ron, Wilson,
Wilson, yeah.
and you have a deep guy along. You know what I mean? And we go one less linebacker. You got Dorian Williams, who's in the draft out of Tulane, who's a beast. You got Cam Jones out of Indiana. You got Campbell, I want to say, out of Iowa, who's going to go real high. You have Henley out of Washington State. I love Henley. All these guys are beasts, and I'm sorry, but they're better than a 32 or 33-year-old Bobby Wagner. They just are. They're explosive players. They'll come in. They may not give you the stats, but they're going to be here for a long time, and they'll be a lot cheaper. So that's where I want to go. So I'm not upset with it. I just want to get Hankins in the fold to get rid of that big guy need. Not that we're not going to draft one. And listen, if you want to trade Gallup,
I don't. There's dead money there. You just with the restructures and everything, there's a lot of dead money.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I figured. I was going to say, if you want to go out and trade Gallup, I think people need to be patient with Gallup. This is his second ACL, which is why I'm not upset that we didn't get OBJ. We were talking OBJ in the playoffs for one specific reason, Phil. That was because everybody said he's ready to roll. He's been cleared. We were in position to make a run. He's way more valuable than he is on a new year, before any injuries hit. Not that I'm trying to be negative, but
he has to go through. That means he has to go through a whole season without injuries. Compared to the playoffs, and what you needed in the playoffs was it definitely came to the fold. You needed somebody to take the pressure off of CeeDee Lamb and complement him, and you just weren't getting a whole lot of that support. And so yes, that's what it was, the eye opener for them, that they needed to go out and get some weapons. You needed, they felt like they needed to re-sign Tony Pollard again. Tony was smart enough to sign that franchise tag very quickly when he started seeing these contracts and stuff coming out. And if they get a long-term deal, when you say long-term, what is it, 3-4 years? That's what I'm all hoping. I don't want to go beyond that. I don't really like paying the second contract to the running back, but again, to me, Tony's not just a running back. He can line up in the slot. He's a big weapon that you can use. We saw him even on punt returns and kick returns in his rookie years. Wasn't he taking stuff back then as well too? So definitely valuable piece. So I was definitely okay with giving him that tag and then working a deal. So you're hoping that hopefully they work a deal. Let's see. Twist says, they're not doing mandatory camp. They had it in last year. Well, you had a heck of a roster not to have to do the mandatory camp. Those guys, there's a lot of veterans that had been doing those camps for years and years that you don't have there now. And, and talking a little bit about it, what do you think about that contract that they gave to Johnson? Do you think it's just one of those things they couldn't agree with something? They want him for 1 year. That's a lot of money there.
Who's that?
Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson with his 1 year.
Lane Johnson, yeah. Well, it drops the overall cap value down slightly. So that's why they were willing to do it. He's he's arguably the best right tackle in the league. It's a lot of money. I just want to know how they're going to fit Jalen Hurts.
Yes, that's still. I haven't heard anything. Nobody's trying to even offer him something. So let
me look and see what the cap situation is here for them right now. I wonder if it's upgraded.
Does he franchise them?
Let's see for Twiz. Right now, the Eagles are sitting with a little over $12 million.
Okay.
So, Lane Johnson now jumps to the top of the list in guaranteed salary at $12 million. So, I'm shocked that they brought back Darius Slay.
And so now, let me ask you a question. Do they have to reevaluate how much they're paying these offensive line? Because now this happens. Hold on one second.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
Yeah, seriously, come on, man. Now we got to pay everybody.
Yeah, I don't know if it's updated, but it looks like it. Right now, Jalen Hurts is counting $4.7 million against the cap. You have to know that. That's not. He's gonna. He's not a free agent, right? This is his.
I thought this was his last year. He had to re-sign him.
This is his fourth year. I think he was a second round pick. I think this is. I thought that was into year 3.
I thought this was year 4 already. I thought that was 4 was already ended. That's what I thought.
No, I don't think so.
Huh.
But I'm just looking at how they could save money. They're gonna have to be very creative to re-sign him.
Yeah.
I just don't know how they're going to do it. You went ahead. Why would you bring back, you brought back like Fletcher Cox. He's counting almost $6 million against the cap this year.
That was a head scratching move a little bit, just because
it's like that's why. You brought back Brandon Graham on a 1-year deal. His cap number is over 10 mil. That's why I stand by my statement. Not they were thinking that Jason Kelsey was going to retire
Oh,
because
so
he's counting almost 11 mil. Yeah, I understand, Twiz. He's one of the best he's centers in the league, if not the best. But he's only guy. He's a year-to-year guy. At some point, you got to pull the trigger. If that's going to stop you from re-signing Hurts, then
well, no.
that's
It looks
an
like
issue.
Twiz was saying it's his 4th year, so he's going into his 4th year. That would make sense.
Yeah, this is his fourth year.
So yeah, they can still they got the rookie the young. Yeah, they got the young contract. So that's good for them.
They may have to. I mean, they just re-signed Slay. They may have to redo that deal, which is scary. It's almost going down that road like we did again with DeMarcus Lawrence. Do you really want to do it? Is Slay, like Lawrence, is still playing great, but look, when it falls off a cliff with these guys. When you're already past 30.
Oh man, undo. My bad. I
So we'll
accidentally
see.
hit something.
We shall see.
Yeah, so they were saying Alan Walker's like, we got the money. Yeah, and I mean, once Johnson comes off that 1-year deal, I mean, you're going to have quite a bit of money that'll open up as well, too. Sorry about that.
Bobby Wagner, it's
I didn't
a done
mean to
deal.
delete
Returns
that.
to Seattle on a 1-year deal. Good job, boys.
I did not mean to delete that, Twiz. My bad, man. I was like,
It's fucking deleting your shit.
yeah, my bad. Like right now when I'm clicking on them, like, and a whole new option's coming up, and so I'm like, well, I'm trying to avoid the option, and then all of a sudden I click to delete it. I'm like, my bad, Twiz.
Well, this is for Twiz. Shout out to
Where's Mark Holmes? Mark Holmes here? Yes. Hello, good people. Look at Mark.
Shout out to Franklin Master. He just passed away.
Oh.
He was an awesome linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles at 71. He was a beast, man. So it's amazing these people are all leaving us.
Yes. So, and as we get into more of these free agent signings and everything, they just recently signed, of course, Tack McKinley, the defensive lineman,
he
defensive
didn't
tackle,
play
right?
much last year, but
No, big
he's
dude,
a defensive end.
Yeah.
He could slide in and play tackle too. Yeah.
And then you had Jake McQuaid, obviously, that he went and signed a deal with the Detroit Lions. So where do we
wanted
go?
to be closer to home.
Yeah, it's understandable at the age that he's playing at. And then, of course, we got Trent Siege, I believe.
Yes.
So, I mean, it definitely, they already had a guy that they had their eye on. So that wasn't really a very big surprise there. I'm trying to see who else that we just recently. Rico Dowdle, another one that you like. I liked Rico early in his career, but of course he's a guy that cannot give you anything because he doesn't stay healthy. But he's a hard runner when he is. So you're wondering, can he kind of do something going into the season, stay healthy coming out of camp? Because obviously Malik Davis was that guy looking in. And now Rico is kind of that guy. So, what do you think about the Rico coming back? Do you think they could have just left him off and bring in somebody else?
I think it's just what it's been. It's not a lot of money. It's not guaranteed. A lot of these guys we could dump. I'm not saying we're dumping them. I'm sorry, Rico, if you're watching. I'm just saying it's one of those deals where, we'll see what happens with the draft. We'll see what happens in preseason. He's going to get a lot of carries. He's one of those type of deal. What's up,
Mike? I'm just
Willis
laughing at
Reed,
Mike.
Nick's legend. Yeah,
I'm just laughing at Mike. Mike goes, Pigeon's trying to bring back as many pieces of the losing Super Bowl team. So he's got
that's my thing.
Funny.
You saw the coach's box or the owner's box, man. They were devastated, and rightly so. You let one slip away, Twiz. You should have won the game. And
they were scoring though. They were scoring. They got to give them credit on that one.
But you know what I mean? You didn't get the job done for whatever reason. Blame the refs, blame the field turf, blame the 97-year-old guy that's taking care of the grass. The bottom line is
he retired.
You didn't get the job done. Now this year is going to be tough for you. Now you got a first place schedule. You're not as deep. You just can't bring another Pro Bowler off the bench. All of a sudden now Jordan Davis is going to be really relied upon. You need to step up and be more consistent. And and not just a part-time player. But he's always been a two-down player, so we'll see. They did bring back Fletcher Cox. He's good alongside of other good guys like Hargrave, but when he's the guy, I don't know, man. I don't know about that one. He was falling off a cliff, but we'll see. That's enough Eagle talk. But I wanted to throw it out there. I am noticing. I don't know if anybody has been using the mock draft simulator for Pro Football Focus. They got smart.
Oh,
you're allowed
to
do one.
Yeah, I saw that.
You're allowed to do one free, and then all of a sudden, how much is? I haven't.
The first 2 rounds are free, and then you have to pay for the rest of them. I thought that's what it was, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" As soon as it popped up, I was like, okay, okay, P." That's how it's going.
I don't blame them, but that's a little ridiculous. Come on now, we're seeing your ads anyway. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean everybody.
So, Mark right now. Mark comes right now. He's doing a video. If he's home, he's doing the video on Bobby Wagner. We let one slip away.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good price, especially with what you have. And it would have been a great piece to put in there with this linebacking core. Does he give them the home discount for Seattle? Is not the same price as what Dallas? Or is Dallas was just out of that market? Look, man, we got some young linebackers that we really like to see. Jabril Cox hasn't really hit the field much, so he has some fresh legs to bring. We saw Damone Clark and how amazing he was kind of just moving through that line, going sideline to sideline, really meeting that running back each time. So, I mean, a great pickup in the 5th round? I think we grabbed him at. So it's just, again, Will McClay doing his value. And so I'm just excited for the draft to get here so we can see who the new Cowboys are going to be because, hey, sometimes they surprise us. I know there's been plenty of times in the 1st or 2nd round that they pick somebody that I'm like, okay, who the heck is this? And then it be somebody that's been a cornerstone of our franchise. So I'm excited what Will McClay's staff is going to come. Oh, man, I got the hiccups. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay, so mock draft database, Brooklyn Joe is saying, has got a good free simulator. I'll have to remember that.
I like using this for the names, but I have a bunch of them. But I like that one the best because some of them are just ridiculous. Anybody that knows DMV, I was talking to him on Twitter. Some of these ridiculous have guys that aren't going to be there at 26. The same guys available at 58. It's like, come on, man. Like Steve Avila is not going to be there at 58 people. He's not. So, but anyway, there's a bunch of them out there. That was, to me, the best one of the bunch, even though I still didn't think it was great. Yeah. But whatever. It is what it is.
I'm trying to figure out. I think I may have blocked Twiz, so I need to figure out.
You blocked Twiz? Oh, yeah, he's not green. He's not. So, damn, he lost his wrench. Dude, man, you got like a tree fall in your out in front of your house, and then Phil blocks your ass.
So I see it. I just see it says deleted. I'm like, oh man, my bad. So hold on, I gotta.
I'm heading down to Phil's in May, so he's gonna show me the inner workings as much as he can. We're gonna hang out, so it should be fun.
Yeah,
so
I can't
stay tuned. We'll be doing a show. You're gonna give me everything. Don't start your shit. Yeah, we're gonna be doing a show either Friday or Saturday that week, and we'll probably be together. So you make sure you got 2 mics. It'll be weird. So yeah. Phil took it. You're right, Alana.
Sorry,
fellow
man.
Eagle fan. Like, everybody. I see everybody is gray.
Is it?
Oh no. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. What the fuck are you doing?
I don't know what's going on, man. My chat went all weird.
Michael, I haven't seen Mike. You still in the house, Mike? Or did you screw him over too?
I don't know.
Sugar Daddy's here,
man. I gotta have to figure this out. What happened here? Because I go there and I don't see him there. So yeah, I gotta figure out what I did there, man. So go ahead, give it a chat as I try to figure this out here.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking 26. It's going to be an offensive tackle. I agree with you guys. If somebody big falls, there's one receiver that if he's there at 26, we'd have to strongly consider. Now, all these aren't over Bijan. Just remember that. He's a top 5, top 10 talent. If he's there at 26, if we're going to be true to ourselves and the draft board, you have to take him. Then we're done with running back. If we don't get Bijan there, there's plenty of backs in this draft that I love. But you can't skip over a guy or you're window dressing your draft board. And you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But you got Quentin Johnson, wide receiver out of TCU. He is my favorite wide receiver in the whole draft.
Yeah.
I have Jackson Smith and Jibba. I believe that's how you say it. Out of Ohio State, but he's going top 10, top 15. He's going to be gone by 15.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you give me Quentin Johnson. He's the next best all-around wide receiver that I like. Did you fix it? I see Mike Aldana.
I tried. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Back. Boom! It goes. It finally.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, man.
I love me some Quentin Johnson. Now that's only if. Okay, that's only if Bijan is gone. I don't want to reach for a tight end. I don't. There's a lot of tight ends. Me and Phil talked about Laporta, but I don't think we need to go with some stud tight end because I think we got a stud. Like what I was getting at before we had an issue was we did a show early on, me and Phil. He would send me, I need some information on this guy. I had Jake Ferguson last year, like right before the draft.
Yeah.
Or no, it was right after they drafted him. That's what it was. And I predicted, if you go back and look, he was going to have his 6 touchdowns. So I was checking it out. He did have 6 touchdowns. He wasn't a starter. And when Dalton Schultz came back, he took a step back. So believe me when I tell you, he has all of it. People, he has everything you would want. Yes, I want us to draft a tight end, but not in the first round. I don't. You got Quentin Johnson if Bijan's gone. You have Steve Avila, who I know they love. If Quentin Johnson's gone and Bijan's gone, I'm all for a trading back into the late 30s and getting another top 100 pick, and let's roll because that's where all of the guys that I want. You can, you know what I mean? I just think that's what you got to do. No, I'm getting excited, though.
I am, too, as well, too. Mark, we're going to be going over there to the NFL draft in Kansas City. I'm excited just to even meet these guys. I haven't met these guys in person. So, to hang out with them and especially watch the draft. I'm at that age now where I think I get more into the draft than I was at young. I'm like, I can't understand why people sit there and watch that stuff.
I've always loved the draft, man. I got memories of being with my brother. Shout out. I miss my brother. He passed away years ago. And I think it's all, but thinking of Stuart Morrison and talking to Stuart's sister, it brought back memories. My brother was a big-time football player, went to college, a big offensive tackle. We used to watch it. I remember watching the draft as a little kid. Laying in bed, just watching it, waiting. I remember it's just I love the draft. The last day of the draft isn't very great. I mean, I get it, but man, I love me some draft. I don't need to watch the combine as much, but I love hearing that bell, and you have it on you. I want to hear it.
Oh yeah,
like
hold
the pick,
on.
Come on now. With the 26th pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, Dallas Cowboys select.
Yeah, trust me, I know. Like those people that get on on there.
Come on,
you
man,
you could rehearse it and rehearse and rehearse, and as soon as you're up there, the 20s. You don't even remember the year. You're like, in the 2026 NFL Draft, a 23rd pick. Oh, I switched that around. See how that?
I've learned, man. Yeah, I've learned over the years not to get caught up in the names, but with all the technology we have. All the technology that we have here, we have the names. We let all these people do the job for us, and then we can look and have all their games. We can look at their highlights. We can get their 40 time. We can get their short shuttle time. We can see, everything. Well,
yeah, pretty much. What do they eat in the morning?
Are you hearing that?
I don't think
You know
so.
what I mean? It's like, yeah, I got something that keeps popping up and it's like making a loud noise. It's kind of weird. I'm just gonna shut that one down. But yeah, I love me. I mean, I love me some draft. It's gonna be neat to be there. And I'm gonna.
Yeah, Mark is singing in the
Michael
chat.
Dana.
Mark is
Yeah,
singing
yeah,
in the
yeah.
chat. But yeah,
All the good time that made me laugh.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's singing to Bobby. Just the what could have been, kind of what could have been. But
Well-
yeah, there's a lot of what could have been. They're gonna be have that. You're gonna have that through the season. If obviously what Brian's saying is very true. Hopkins, I think, is kind of out of the mix. It would be great if they could pull something off. But do you really need it? It's just, is it overkill? You may need it when other people aren't stepping up. But
If we can get him for a 4 and or a 5, then fine. Other than that, I'd rather not, man. We got our guys. Well, listen, I love Hopkins. If we can
that's
get
what
him,
she
great.
said. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? I just think that I don't want to give up a top 3 pick at this point.
Thank you, Gina.
I don't.
Yeah, I'm with you. Because those three, those top 3 are definitely possible starters. But again, like what we've seen with Will McClay and what he's been able to do with this draft, a lot of these guys could be starters. I mean, you're gonna, your young talent you have, Mukwamu that came in. He did some pretty good plays at the end. The end, so I mean, that's always a possibility there at the cornerback position. The way that he kind of just lingers there, I think I find him more of a safety. But you saw him and what they did. They kind of had that secret weapon. Okay, we're going to put him in there. And he came up with the interception. So I do like the young guys that we have. But I do like the sprinkle of, kind of like my beard. You got the young stuff here, and you got a little sprinkle of the veteran stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's another position that we don't need. But if for some reason the draft goes a certain way and everybody we like, I keep seeing Witherspoon now all of a sudden dropping. I got news for you. Witherspoon, the cornerback, is unbelievable. So if he's there, you'd have to consider him. I don't think a Joey Porter Jr. would slide that far, but I'm seeing Witherspoon sliding, and I don't know why. He's really good. So that would make me pause. I really don't want to take a receiver in round 1. I don't want to take a running back. I keep going back to it, but you have to stick to your board. You got to take the best players available. So I'm kind of hoping we get wiped out, so we drop out of there. And maybe that Will Levis is still on the board, and somebody wants to trade up with us. You drop down into 37-ish, and pick up another top 100 pick, man, because that guy you're getting you could get Steve Avila at 37, you know what I mean, and then still get another pick. They're strongly considering, taking him at 26, and I'm not going to hate the pick.
Yeah.
I didn't know much about our center out of Wisconsin when we first took him too. Travis Frederick. Yeah.
Me neither.
So it was like I didn't hammer the pick, but I wasn't in love with the pick. I knew more about Steve Avila than I do Travis Frederick.
Yeah.
But who am I? I'm just a guy sitting in my mom's basement. So, I got it in. I got to get it in once a show.
Yeah, meatloaf.
Ma, the meatloaf.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of offensive moves, a lot of moves to come. We're of course I'm craving more. I want more. I want to see more names. It has to end. It has to end at some point because you have to get ready for the draft and what this team is going to put together. I'm excited. I'm excited for this young group. It definitely feels better. For the past 3 years, I'm telling you, that first year I felt pretty good about it. Okay, we got some weapons. We went all drafting defense. We got Dan Quinn. Next year comes up. I'm feeling a little bit better. We got some other young pieces. Sam Williams. We got a nice tackle, and he's going to be playing guard. Now you get a little bit more pieces, whether you're making the trades, whether you're bringing back people, whether you're bringing a Ronald Jones, Super Bowl winning running back that has fresh legs to play. Hopefully, what Zeke was playing. And I wish Zeke the best, but except for when you play us. So
that's a good transition. Let's talk about the Zeke thing.
Okay.
Do you know none of those teams reached out to Zeke? None of them. He's throwing out the Eagles, the Jets, and Cincinnati. I can't blame Zeke. I can't blame Zeke.
No, and that's the thing. Behind that offensive line, he would be good.
Philly?
Oh, he's going to be hated.
No, thank you.
Yeah, he's going to be hated. But they've already come out and said as well that they haven't reached out because they're very happy with the guys they have, and they just finished signing a running back as well. So I mean, I just doesn't see. You don't want to do the spitefulness. I know they've done a couple of things like that in the past, but you definitely don't want to go down this category. Let him go off either to Tampa or the AFC and let him do his thing over there. Those two teams, where the Jets are going, is Aaron Rodgers going to go over there? He would definitely complement that. Is the offensive line good enough, really, though, to he just doesn't. I don't see him having those same moves. So when I see those hype videos coming out about Zeke, yeah, it's the same stuff. I mean, I don't fear that whole thing. Not like young Zeke. I would have definitely feared young Zeke, but I'm not going to say that he can't bust out 100-yard games or anything like that, because he can. It just wasn't happening here for that price, Zeke who?
Yeah, Zeke. I wish he would go to Cincinnati. I would like that for him. And I agree with Twiz. I think Zeke's better off waiting. He's not going to get that much, but I think the Bengals ownership could say, oh, that's what it is. It's an ad that keeps popping up that I'm hearing.
No.
I think the Bengals, since he's from the area, right? He went to college there, right down the street at Ohio State. I think that I hope it works out for him. I don't think he's going to the Jets, and I don't think the Eagles are going to get him. Eagles really can't afford him. He's good. Dallas didn't want to. This is what I told Mark. Dallas didn't want to make him Dallas didn't make him an offer. I don't know if people are aware of it.
No,
Dallas
they didn't even ask him. Yeah, they didn't ask him for a pay cut. Kind of the same thing with Dez.
It's more of a slap in the face type of deal.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know, man. I think that's more of an excuse. I think you just give, even if you value it that much. I mean, what's the worst you're going to say? No, and you're going to do the same thing. Right. So I mean, but I get it. I'm not against it. I have seen the production. I have seen how they used him. Again, Kellen Moore using him that way. So there's a torn thing there whether he could have been better. But again, Sugar Daddy says it correctly. We need to draft offensive linemen. We need to continue this on with Michael Dennis is saying as well too, because you got to build that up. If you get a good offensive line, it doesn't matter too much. I'm going to say too much of who your running backs are. But if you got a guy there, of course, that can revolutionize, whether it's Robinson. To me, Gibbs, I like Gibbs a little bit more if you're talking about backs that are complete. But again, I wouldn't be.
Especially if we're going with a multi-back situation.
Mm-hmm.
But, Bijan, you just can't hit Bijan. He's the type of guy you can't get a hold of him. He's so elusive. His footwork is so incredible. It's something that you would have to really strongly consider. That's all. But,
since he loves their former Cowboys, yep, that's correct, Mike. So any subject you'd like to talk about before we out here? I guess we've already been on here for an hour. The time does go fast when we're talking about this. Yes.
Wow. Well, okay, we got Wagner is gone. All right. So the only thing left is, are we really going to make a play? Are we still going to make a play for D-Hop? That'll be the next big question. Everybody else, I think the next thing is Hankins. Are we going to make for D-Hop? And are we extending anybody long term, like right now? I don't know that it would happen now, probably post-draft. So I think we're in a lull period. We picked up our long snapper. I heard where Robbie Gould, he was let go.
I saw that from the 49ers, right? A kicker?
I would investigate Robbie Gould.
Yeah, go ahead.
If he's available. But outside of that, man, I think all these teams are going to now. That's why Zeke, he better make his decision if he has any offers. But supposedly those three teams were just as surprised to hear that they were in the.
He'll be in the XFL.
It's more of a wish list. Yeah. He needs to make a decision. And like Twiz says, he should just wait until after the draft, because all these teams, what they're doing now, Phil, is starting next week, is they're making a draft board. Mm-hmm. They're looking to the draft. That's what they do.
Yep.
And that would be, to me, that's the best part of it, is doing that draft board, you slotting your guys because that's when you know. Um, yeah, Twiz wants Gibbs over Bijan.
He's the hardest.
I think I think Gibbs would fit good in Philly.
Too good. Yeah,
I think.
I agree.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised. I'm really surprised that you brought back Slay. I think you could have sat there in 10 or even dropped back a bit and got Joey Porter Jr. Or got a Witherspoon.
Yeah, I agree
I would
too.
have rather you guys have done that. Just looking ahead, because it's just my opinion. I don't think Bradbury is as good without Slay. So that's the only good thing I think you guys have going for you is that Bradbury is good with Slay. I think if you have Bradbury as the main guy with the rookie, as good as that rookie is, not everybody is a Sauce Gardner. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out, Phil. I know I'm rambling, but
No, it's okay.
I think we're getting to that point where teams are going to either build that draft board. If I don't get Bijan, I don't see us getting Gibbs because we already have a Tony Pollard. So to me, Gibbs is more of he's not a big guy either. I'd rather wait to get a Sean Tucker or a
Well, if you can't sign Tony to a long-term deal, I mean, it might not be a bad
I don't know
idea.
that they're even going to. I think they wait at this point now, knowing what the market is. That it's not going to get any better. I'd wait to see how he responds with that leg. You're going to get a young back, whether it's Bijan or somebody. Kendre Miller, who I'm hearing they really love, but like a Tank Bigsby, I really like Tank. There's a lot of backs, man, a lot of backs.
Yeah.
So if I were the Eagles, I wouldn't take one in round 1 or 2. I think you have too many other holes. Eagles really should be looking at like a center. Unless you think Landon Dickerson is going to be your future center. I'm curious to see where the Minnesota center is going to go because he could play guard. John Michael Schmitz, he's a guy that I wouldn't mind getting in the second round if we don't take an offensive tackle lineman in the first. I would take a John Michael Schmitz if we're just sticking and picking and Avila's off the board because he gives you guard and he could play center if we don't bring back Biadasz, So I know I'm rambling, but center or Cansey, Gibbs battle, Twiz. I don't see Cansey coming to Dallas. And I expect Hankins back too, Sugar Daddy. I definitely do.
Well, I know there's a lot of possibilities. You see different people's draft boards. We have different tight ends, running backs, wide receivers, offensive linemen, defensive tackle. You don't see much corner stuff. I think that kind of settled that down a little bit. But that doesn't mean that you should be disappointed if somebody drops. Again, I think we're in that situation. If people are dropping, it's either a good prime spot for somebody to trade up and give you some good capital, or it's in a good position that somebody's dropping down that we can pick as well. So, I mean, there's always somebody that, there's teams out there that want, we need that offensive lineman. He's sitting there. We can't wait till the second round. Let's go ahead and pick him now. And so you're going to have a lot of teams that are going to do that and are going to push that playmaker out of the way. I think that's what you saw a lot with CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb was a talent. If everybody could do it again, I guarantee you CeeDee Lamb would not be sitting anywhere near that pick. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, how did that work out? We didn't necessarily need to get
We didn't need a wide receiver. We did not need one
at that time. Especially at that spot in the draft. And It was beautiful. It was the right pick. That's why I keep saying at 26, if Bijan's there, I'm sorry, people, you got to take him. Mm-hmm. You have to, unless I'm not going to get stupid, so we'll just leave it at that. But unless one of these other studs drops all the way down, but I don't see it happen. There's not that offensive lineman in the first round that I have to have. There's just not. There's not that receiver that I love other than Jackson.
What's up, Jack Meeker?
Smith. So, Jack Meeker in the house. What up, man?
He said he's glad the Balder Wagner
drama. I know Mark's real upset about it. He really wanted him, and I wasn't against him. But once we brought back Leighton.
Oh, man.
Hey, people. Trust me. You okay, Phil?
Yeah, no, I went to scratch my head and smack the mic. Yeah, it's
I thought you were seasoning up, man. With these young linebackers, man, people, please do not be upset. There's a lot of stud linebackers in this draft.
Yeah.
We're going to be good there. That's not a bad thing. We're fine. So we're ready to draft, man. Give me Hankins, and we're ready to draft.
So what we'll do is we're going to try this most likely probably on a Wednesday. We'll check that during the week and stuff. We'll come in here. We'll get we'll get a draft going. Whether it's our guys, whether we're debating it, the format's still up in the air.
We can debate it.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much you can do, especially.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
We always do.
So again, I appreciate everybody coming through. I appreciate everybody commenting. You guys have given us a great subject. You guys have great feedback for this stuff, and it's good to know, man. Is football still in the air, even though it's been over for a little bit? I mean, there's still news out there. We're getting ready for, again, the NFL draft is going to come. So by the time stuff just starts to wear down, boom, it pops back up again, and it starts to go back down, and then bam, it's the camps and stuff. So football's still in the air, and I like that we can talk about it, and even, rivals, we can talk about what the other one should do as well. And that doesn't mean by the time the end of the season, we're still going to talk crap about your team, and even though we told you to draft that person, we're still going to talk shit about him as well, too. So, Bryan, anything you want to say to the groups, the people at home before we get out of here?
I'm good, man. Just, I see Mark Holmes is pissed, and Jack Meeker, I'm a huge Damone Clark champion. I'm a big Damone guy. That's another example. Like the way we play our defense, we play, Jaron Curse a lot down low.
Wilson.
Relax, buddy. Everything's going to be good, my man. The sun will, come
up
out
the next
morning.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, we're fine, man. So, yeah, I'm good, and I hope to see everybody here Wednesday night. We're going to do some sort of mock draft, whether it's a roundtable style or me and Phil. We'll figure that out. But, yeah, it's been great, man. I love seeing everybody here.
All right, guys, I appreciate you guys going through. I appreciate people sharing, rewatching, commenting, anything that you do within our channel, even if you talk crap. I am all about it. I appreciate your support and just giving us the time. So I know we've had some people also talk about us in other YouTubes, in the sense of it's not all about the graphics sometimes, but for here, we like to talk about that stuff, but we like to also put on the show as well, too. So thank you for coming in. Thank you for, of course, being part of this nation. But don't forget to always do what?
Ring that bell.
Hey! We know each other. He's a friend from work.
What you do, you're like a little screw loose type of guy, and that's how I am. So I'm digging it, big guy. I am.
Who are you?
You.
No, not me, you.
Yes, I am you.
Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
GameTime Bryan, otherwise known as the mailman here.
Cool name. Superpowers?
Broadcasting from the illustrious Jobu Studio.
Come on, are you going to tell me who that is?
Primetime Phil, and of course my co-host, GameTime Bryan.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this place is going to explode. $100,000, I don't even need to hear it.